Welcome to Leaving Crazy Town with Finn and Sarah. We got a special treat for you today. I am going to ask Dr. Michaud, a.k.a. Sarah, some questions. She doesn't know what the questions are. We're just throwing them at her. We're going to hear the inside scoop from the therapist.
Why do I think this is all so funny?
Why is it so funny? Are you
All
nervous?
Right. I am nervous.
All right.
So, what are these questions going to be about?
All right. Well, question number 1. What would you recommend to someone who is just starting their codependency recovery journey?
Oh, good question.
Where do you think they should start?
All right, this reminds me of a story, and I don't want to go on too long.
We don't want you to go on too long.
All right, but it's very quick. So one of my closest friends went to therapy with, you may know this story, went to therapy with her husband. And he was an alcoholic. And they went to therapy, and the therapist was dealing with the alcoholic husband and finding out if he was ready to quit drinking, blah, blah, blah. My friend kept kind of interrupting, like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Because she was the codependent. And finally, when they kind of wrapped it up with the alcoholic person, my friend goes, so what can I do? And the therapist looked at her and said, you need to rest. You just need to rest. So one thing to think about is if you're codependent, you may be exhausted because you've been trying to manage and control everything around you and yourself. So I would really think about, do you need to rest? Do you need to start adding I know this is like, you're going to go from one extreme to another. So think about maybe some small breaks.
I was thinking about my friend Janie, who always was taking care of everyone in her family and said, Finn, I know I need a break. I'll get one once my daughter's in order, my son's fine, and my grandkids are okay. I'll take a break. And she died.
Yes.
And that's why I always say codependency kills.
We
she
really
never got the break.
Yes, we really believe that on this channel, that codependency kills.
So that's a great one. All right, so if you notice you're really codependent and you're fully active in it, do you need a break? Do you need to take care of yourself? Is there something you could do to take care of yourself? A+, Dr. Michaud.
Yeah. Could you even take 10 minutes a day to take for yourself? Like really, it doesn't have to be extreme.
Could be turn your phone off, right? For 10 minutes.
When my son was born, and I tell this story a lot too, I was a single parent for the most part. And I joined a gym, and I used to go to the gym when he was like in the first year. And I would put him in the childcare, and I'd go sit in the whirlpool. Like I didn't work out. I just went and sat in the whirlpool. And the max was 90 minutes in the childcare, and I literally spent the whole time in the whirlpool. So that's what I mean. If you're really actively in your codependency, you might be tired. So take a little break. Okay.
That's awesome. All right. Now, how would you suggest, or what do you think someone could do to get ready or prepare to tell their spouse, a family member, or somebody they're concerned about how they're going to react, something that they're fearful to share? Like, what is something they can do to prepare themselves to start on that journey to finally speaking up?
Okay. All right. So part of being in recovery from addiction is learning how to tolerate what's happening inside, learning how to tolerate your feelings, your body sensations, your thoughts. Healing from codependency is the same thing. So my suggestion, and I was going to say this in part 1 too, like early codependency recovery is starting to slow down enough that you notice what you're experiencing, because addiction is staying distracted all the time, and so is codependency. People that are like chronically busy or chronically focused on someone else or fixing and changing, or, it means we can't tolerate what's going on inside of us. So the first step before you get through the fear of speaking up to someone is just getting comfortable with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
That's the pre-step.
Right. Because, we're going to have feelings. I know for me, I'm always fearful when I share, but I've gotten comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. And I've gotten uncomfortable hearing things I don't want to hear in response, which I think that's huge too.
Absolutely. It's just starting to get comfortable. And, I said this to a sponsee the other day who said to me, geez, when someone hurts me, then I never see them again or something like that. And I said, listen, our relationship is going to be great practice to you getting hurt, because I'm sure I'll hurt you at some point, not intentionally, but I might say something that hurts you, and you tolerating those feelings and then talking to me about it, because I'm telling you right now, I'm a safe person to talk to about anything. You can be mad at me and I can tolerate it. So think about some safe people. That would be part 2 of this. If you want to speak up to someone,
Practice, right?
Practice with some safe people that aren't going to overreact.
Yeah.
So that would be start small.
I know for us, the first time we did a group and you were upset with me and you talked to me about it,
Yep.
it was hard to tolerate how it felt.
Yes.
But I was just open with you how I was feeling, and you shared with me what was going on for you. And I think that really set the tone for us being able to talk about things.
Yes, and do it with not your number one partner.
Yeah.
Like I often give the example of like if they didn't put cream in your coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, do that.
Yeah.
Could you please take the coffee back and give me a black coffee?
Yeah, like
or whatever.
Baby
or
steps.
Give me the cream. Yeah, baby steps. And you can do it with people that you're not so emotionally attached to is another suggestion.
Right.
And that can be hard. I give the example in my book that I bought a pair of shoes because I didn't want to hurt the feelings of the salesperson. So believe me, I've been there. I won't do that today, I hope.
Yeah, I've done that too. All right, so another question. So now we're not the one that's codependent. We're the receiver of a codependent behavior. Okay, so I'm switching the question.
Got it. Okay, got it. Yeah.
So how would you suggest for the person who's dealing with the codependent in their life, like I have someone in my life where I often feel like I'm constantly saying, if I need something, I will ask. And I'm constantly being barraged with, do I need something? And I'm finding it really frustrating. So I don't know. And I know that's on me. Like, I just have to, like, why can't I just let them ask me? But I feel the need to like say something. So I'm just curious, like, what's your advice for someone whose other people are constantly trying to take care of? Because I know for me, I'm walking away feeling like they don't trust that I'll ask. But I got to remember, it's not about me, right?
Right. It's the both and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if everybody watching this knows what it's like. I think this is a really helpful exercise. When you think of your worst controlling moments, say with your kid or your partner or someone, an employee or whatever, think about what that's like to receive that. Like that's often helped me a lot with my son when I'm kind of relentless about something in my high codependency days. It's like he would say to me, I got it. You know what I mean? You don't trust that I can handle this. And the idea that I'm giving him this message that he can't even do it.
Yeah.
So really thinking about what it is like to receive someone who's really controlling, or like Finn was talking about, someone who's just constantly asking you, how you doing? Can I get you anything? And it's both. We can set a boundary. We can set a boundary and say, hey, I promise I'll ask you. It's starting to really bug me that you keep asking me. Like, I promise I will say something. But if that boundary doesn't work and then we are getting activated, then it's looking at what is it about us why does this bother me so much? Do you know what I mean? Like Finn was saying.
But
Go ahead.
say it happens. You set the boundary, you talk to them, and they continue to do it.
Yeah.
Sure, it's on me that if I get activated or whatever, but there are certain scenarios, like for me, for most people, if I have someone in my life that isn't hearing what I say, I definitely won't spend more time with them, right? Like I'm not going to choose to be around someone who I've said very clearly, please let me ask you. I will ask you, I promise.
Yes.
And they just keep at it.
Yes.
But what if it's someone like you can't get away from?
Well, let's talk about my father.
Okay, let's talk
about my father. My father was such a difficult person, okay? I set boundaries with him for years, okay? So I had to really decide when was I going to see him, because he was my father, and I wanted to have a relationship with him. When was I going to see him? When was I not going to see him? When was I going to talk to him on the phone? When I was not going to talk to him on the phone? How much could I tolerate him? How much it's really so different depending on the person and the situation and the type of boundary. I mean, it really is. Every situation is a little different. Obviously, yes, you can choose not to spend time with someone. That's absolutely true. But if it's someone that you want to be close to, you can also increase the intensity of the boundary. I mean,
oh yeah, I never think of that.
You know, because I got to say something, we're going to wrap this up. I had a friend of mine who had this really nice house in Belmont in this great town. And she was a stickler about locking her door. And we were hanging out all the time. This was an early recovery. And I would sometimes forget to lock her door when we went to a meeting. And one day, I forgot to lock the door. And she freaking lost it. And she just said, I keep effing telling you, this is not, like, she really, like, laid into me. And I'm not saying this is appropriate, but you know what? Never forgot to lock her door again. So, you know what I'm saying? So there is something, I think about that
there's
with
somewhere
kids a
in
lot.
between asking
There
and the
is
fine line.
You know, it's that saying, you know, first we learn to say no, then we learn to say no nicely.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes though, I think about it with kids, especially if people think we're a certain way. They think we're not serious or whatever, but we need to let people know we're serious about a boundary. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Michaud.
It's been wonderful.
Sarah in the house, if you guys have any questions for her, clearly she does a great job. She didn't know what I was going to ask. Nice job, and we look forward to seeing you.
We're
out of
crazy
here.
town.
Fasten your seatbelts, people.
Bye.